All right, welcome to the 6Three podcast, a little impromptu episode on Tuesday. We forgot that this coming Monday is Black Monday for NFL head coaches, so we wanted to get a little 15-minute snippet out there for everybody, just so we can kind of talk about where we kind of think these coaches are going to end up at the end of the year, and we thought we'd turn it into a tier list. So just have a little extra fun with it, say the coaches that we think are, as you can see on this side. We already got 3 of them already fired. People were almost 100% are getting fired. Some that won't get fired but probably should. To be determined, maybe bought themselves another year. There's some coaches on that list, maybe injuries or having a young quarterback or something like that. We got the safe coaches and then the 100% safe coaches. You could also say that tier is just the elite coaches that probably have a job for life at this point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Joel, anything else to add before we get into this?
No, yeah, I'm glad you were able to quick pull this together here. But yeah, we got Matt Patricia there at the bottom, Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn already fired. And I think you can probably just go in order right there with BDI's Adam Gase.
Right. And I'm pretty sure we're both in agreement that he is 100% getting fired.
I think he's got pretty high odds right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Andy Reid, I think.
Yeah. He's won 2 games, so I'm sure he won't.
2 in a row, actually, too. Yeah, maybe finishes at 3.
It won't look as bad as an 0-16 season, but there's no possible way that the Jets can keep that guy.
He might get to be an offensive coordinator again. That's
one of the things I always think with, and this is a larger conversation, but a lot of times head coaches that get fired, especially bad ones, they are good coordinators. We talked about that with the Lions before of Jim Schwartz, great defensive coordinator, bad head coach. Who was the Cowboys' old defensive coordinator who was a Lions coach?
Rod Marinelli, yeah.
Rod Marinelli, great coordinator. But, yeah, some of these guys I think would be great coordinators but aren't good coaches. So I think we started with the bottom. I think we'll both agree.
This one going to the top, yeah. I think
100% safe. Yeah. If it wasn't for Bill Belichick, probably the best coach in the league. At least the most offensively creative head coach in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think you got Anthony Lynn there next, and I think he's not I feel like he is not 100% fired, but I'm pretty sure he gets fired. I'm kind of is that a to be determined one?
I would say to be determined because
he's a former head coach of the year. I mean,
and the thing that buys head coaches time the most often is having a rookie quarterback.
Oh, Justin Herbert. So
I mean, they have talent on their team. Justin Herbert showed a lot of promise this year. If they're actually doing interviews with him, I think they're giving him another year just to see what it's like with Justin Herbert, not in his rookie year. Maybe get him some more protection, shore up that defense. So I think he definitely bought himself more time with just having that.
Yeah, then you got to go out there. That's another 100% safe.
We're going to put him, no offense, but ahead of Andy Reid.
Right. Yeah, you should. I don't know when his retirement date is, but I bet if he has another year like this year, he might be on the bucket list.
Yeah, he'll definitely retire on top. But yeah, I mean, with all the problems going on in New England, there's no way anybody can blame it on Bill Belichick.
Correct. Brian Flores there. I had him as a preseason pick. I think he's 100% safe. What he's already – I think he could be 100%. Just because obviously he's not the elite coach like those other first 2, but I think with what he's already done in his first 2 years with Miami, he's been pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think he's been great. I think he's getting a little bit of buzz for Coach of the Year, which I don't think is unwarranted. They really need to figure out what's going on with their quarterback position, but everything else is looking really good. So, I think – and he's from the Bill Belichick tree, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I think he actually replaced Matt Patricia when he left for a year because he was a linebackers coach when Patricia was there, and then he moved up.
I would say Bruce Arians also safe, probably 100% safe.
I think he's 100%, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're a weird team still. I don't trust them in the playoffs, but I mean, again, Bruce Arians has done a great job. Former coach of the year in Arizona
with Cardinals. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So, all right,
Doug Marrone. I think he's got to get fired. maybe they want him as the future rebuild king, but I don't think he's done anything to warrant a stay for another year. So I think Doug Marrone needs to get fired, and I think he will.
Yeah, I think, I like Doug Marrone's personality. Like, he seems like a great guy. He seems like he kind of fits Jacksonville too. Like, just a little like plucky, a little backwoodsy, a little like not taken seriously. But yeah, not head coach material. I think there's no reason to keep him around.
Now, Doug Peterson, I saw on the ticker on the bottom of the Indiana bowl game against Ole Miss that like it sounded like reports are that he is staying another year.
Yeah, he's definitely safe. I don't know if he should stay though.
Yeah, he's kind of on that borderline safe to won't get fired but should sort of deal.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's another top coach and he's got a Super Bowl in one of his first years.
Right.
There's obviously a lot of good there, but I think safe is probably a good spot to put him.
Yeah.
We got Frank Reich.
I think you can make the case for he should, but I think there's a lot more problems in than the coach.
Correct.
Frank Reich.
I think he's safe, but I think he's safe just because like I don't say 100%, even though it probably is 99%. So just the disparity between that 1%, I'm going to put him at safe. But again, kind of especially if they miss the playoffs this year, it's like, oh, that's kind of frustrating because they probably got to put up the same record with Jacoby Brissett as they did for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, so. I feel bad for Jacoby. Like, why not start him? Like, I think he's pretty good. I think maybe there's just problems that he has that we don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'd say he's safe. I think people might be disappointed with some parts of the season. I think there's some people who think they should be like already like 12-win team. They were in some really close games against some tough competition that you could make. They probably should have won, but yeah, he's definitely safe. Joe Judge of the Giants.
Yeah, you don't fire a guy after giving his first year.
No.
I don't think I think he's probably safe. Do you think yeah, I mean, I guess he could be safe or to be determined, but because I guess it wouldn't surprise me, but I wouldn't like the trend of seeing a coach like Joe Judge get just picked up and then just drop. Right. Like you can't. Joey Galloway was saying that after Texas fired Tom Harmon after 4 years with a 32.
Yeah, I'd say Joe Judge is definitely safe. I don't think I think after next year, he can definitely be in like the won't get fired but should or the to be determined. But yeah, I think he's safe.
I think they give him at least 3 years, so we'll see what happens.
Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is 100% safe.
Yeah, I would say safe. I say safe, but you put him at the top of safe, but I think just because how long he's been there and what he's done there, hard to say he's not. But again, the Ravens have to win against the Bengals too again this week for playoff contention, so I think he's there for now.
Yeah. All right.
Gruden. Oof. I still think he's a won't get fired but should.
See, I kind of think that too. Like I don't believe in him at all.
I mean, and if I could just ring RJ's bell again for a throwback, but he has never been a proponent of Gruden at all. And I don't know if you've ever heard those conversations, but he ran the coattails of Tony Dungy's old team in Tampa Bay to win that Super Bowl, and that's all he gets recognition for. Is
I think Gruden's got a great football mind. Like I think he does like when he's watching film and when he's like planning a game plan, probably he knows what's going on. Like he knows what he's telling people to do and what he's picking. But like I just think when he gets in a game or when he's dealing with adversity or when he's trying to be creative or trying to be different or trying to be successful, like it just ends at not like a good coaching mind. Like he just has a good football mind. He understands the X's and O's, but he just doesn't know how to coach a team.
I think that's a great slot for him right there. So
we got Stefanski, the Browns.
Again, he's too new. It's not going to happen. I think he's in the same position as Joe Judge. Yeah.
And I mean, I think he's pretty darn safe just because getting Cleveland.
I would actually say he's 100% safe, to be honest. Because what is this? His first year in Cleveland's?
Well,
his second year.
If Cleveland wins, I know there's some of these that like it would be great to do this like. There's like a 3-hour window when week 17 ends and before people get fired that you'd love to do something like this. But if the Browns make the playoffs, he is 100% no doubt safe. Like being the first coach to bring the Browns to the playoffs in however long. If they falter, everyone's kind of going to get some shots on their shoulders in that Browns locker room. Like Baker Mayfield, their star players, every coach, everyone on the coaching staff, even the front office, like they fumble this. But I think they'll get in just because Pittsburgh's benching so many people. But he's teetering the line right between those depending on what happens tomorrow.
I agree.
All right, Cliff Kingsbury.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, Cardinals kind of had but yeah, I think safe. I don't know about 100, but he's Cardinals have kind of fallen apart. If Cardinals miss the playoffs again here, it's going to be rough because they looked good and they kind of just like John Gruden's Raiders, they just fell apart after starting out pretty hot.
Yeah. Well, and Kingsbury was supposed to be like the next Sean McVay, and like Sean McVay's had a great year, better year than a lot of people thought he would, but I think some people are looking around of like, do you want the next Sean McVay? Like, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is Sean McVay's ceiling. Obviously, was making it to the making a deep playoff run, getting to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he'll win one. I think he's young enough he'll be coaching for 30 years if he really wants to. I don't think Kingsbury's ceiling is that high. I just don't think he is a coach that could, at this point, could lead a Super Bowl contender. But we got Kyle Shanahan, a choke artist but a great coach. Do you say he's 100% safe or just safe?
Oh man, I think he's 100 because of what he's done in the playoff. I mean, obviously choking in a Super Bowl is always just going to hurt, but the injuries that they had here this year, he's faced a lot of adversity with having to adjust with the player and the personnel that he has out there on the field. So
well, and just going through all the injury problems they had and still being in the hunt till like what?
A very tough NFC West.
Yeah, until like 2 weeks ago, like until like week 13, 14, maybe even 15. I don't remember when it happened, but they were still in contention. They were still like keeping in line with the Cardinals. And
I don't think teams with C.J. Beathard or Nick Mullins at quarterback win more than 3 games in a season.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the Lions this year starting Nick Mullins? Like
that's 1 in 15 best case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
All right, Matt LaFleur.
100%.
Probably one of the first people that gets not enough credit for how good the team is because of Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, I agree. He's 100%. I mean, you go, what are they? Possibly 13-3. Like you're 100% safe. You can't do that and people question how good of a coach.
Right now, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC, so it would depend if they lost to the Bears and the Saints and Seahawks win. But right now, that's a good spot to be.
We will get to right now with Matt Nagy. I am going to put Matt Nagy in the won't get fired but should.
So you think he's the root of the problem and not Ryan? Because I still believe that Matt Nagy's a better coach than Ryan Pace as a GM. Although Ryan Pace made the hire, so it has to kind of fall ultimately together. I think if one thing happens, they're both going. So
I just think I think Matt Nagy was trying to be this incredible play caller and this incredible offensive schemer, and then it just all it crumbled this year. And I think if that's your identity and now your identity is gone, like what kind of head coach are you?
It's just they're the biggest streak team ever. Like they win 5 in a row after they lose the first, and then they lose 6 in a row, and then they're on a 3-game win streak after losing to the Lions, and then now they have to play for a playoff game. If they don't win, then they're probably not in because the Cardinals would have to also lose.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, let me plug some headphones in. So would you agree with me? Won't get fired but should, or would you say TBD?
Oh man, I would say I think I'm a TBD on him personally because I hate Pace more than I hate Nagy, but
okay,
that's tough.
Yeah, we'll put him there. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
We have him just like sitting on that line. I would like to have him just on that line.
I know. I wish I could.
He's gonna pick a side.
I wish I could. Okay, Matt Rule. Definitely safe in my mind. He did a lot with a little this year.
They looked really good early on, especially when they had to run with like Mike Davis and Teddy Bridgewater. Who knew what you were going to get with CMC out all year?
Well, and I think
and all their games are close.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, everyone was kind of thinking they'd be top 5 pick territory, and they're not far from that. But I think they might actually be in top 5 pick. But
I actually thought they would be
remember.
probably 3, but it is surprising for how well they played other teams. They played every team well, good or bad this year. So unfortunately, that's why every game has been close too. They played bad teams close and good teams close.
Well, and I think Matt Rule was a big part of that. Like, he was not shy to do some creative things. He was willing to experiment, willing to be a little ballsy and like go for on 4th downs and for 2-point conversions and run plays that you wouldn't think in certain situations. So I definitely think he's safe. The jury's still out on how good of a head coach he is, but yeah. And then we got Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy for the Cowboys.
What are you thinking here?
I think he's going to have the shortest leash though out of any Cowboys coach. So unfortunately, they're noticing that it wasn't Jason Garrett that was holding them back. It's that's tough, man. I think he's a TBD, to be honest, because I think he could. Yeah. Where do you think on him? I think they have a short leash with him.
Yeah, I think part of me thinks like he's definitely safe. I don't think he'll get fired. Just because, again, first year your star quarterback goes down.
Where do you say won't get fired but should? Like, because
I think that.
But I mean, you made the point that Dak Prescott got hurt. Yeah, Dak Prescott.
The jury's still out on like McCarthy, whether he's a good coach, whether he should get fired or shouldn't. I think he's perfectly right there with Anthony Lynn.
Okay.
Mike Tomlin, 100% safe.
Yep.
I don't like Mike Tomlin.
I know. I hear it every podcast.
I don't know what it is about him. I think he's like, there's a podcast that like talks about what is going on in all the head football coaches' brains. Like, if you open their head up, what do you see inside? And they said his brain's like just a bowl of beef stew. It's just a bunch of random stuff thrown in there, and it all works out. But like, you're kind of just like, oh, what's happening in here? I think that with Mike Tomlin, like, I think he's a great coach. It all tastes good like a beef stew, but he's just so weird to me. Like, I don't think he can, like, I give him credit for being able to manage a locker room with like Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, 2/3 of those guys have left, but I don't know, man. I don't like him. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I just don't like him.
All right. Yeah, I think 100% safe is where it's really. Washington football team, Ron Rivera there.
This is Mike Vrabel.
Oh, that is Mike Vrabel. Okay, I can't see that distant. Yep. Mike Vrabel, 100%.
He's definitely safe.
Okay.
You think 100%? Yeah.
I think he's 100%. Yeah. Titans are good.
Any coach that can do what he's doing with Ryan Tannehill, I think, is good. So I agree.
Yeah.
His defense needs a little work. But yeah. Then we got Mike Zimmer. I think a very interesting one.
He needs to get fired, but he's on that borderline of won't get fired, but should. So I think that's a good spot.
I agree. I feel like he has reached his peak with Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Like, are they a playoff contender? Are they a middle pick? He's right in that area. And I think he's similarly to Jim Caldwell a little bit. Just kind of like you could do a lot worse for sure. You could have a much worse head coach, but you could definitely have a much better head coach.
I agree. Pete Carroll, 100%.
Pete Carroll, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Seattle's been kind of up and down this year at points, but still one of the most well-respected head coaches in the league. I think
he's got a job till he retires, to be honest.
For sure. And he's way older than you think he is too.
I think he's the oldest right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's older than Belichick.
Well, so Romeo Crennel is technically the interim, but so he's the oldest.
Sure. Whatever.
But Carroll's the oldest head coach.
Yeah. Now we're at Ron Rivera.
Okay,
Washington
there he is.
Football team. I think he's safe.
Yeah, you're not gonna fire a guy that had cancer. That's not cool.
Right. But again, Washington had a ton of problems, and I don't think Ron Rivera.
And Alex Smith's comeback and him being successful, there's obviously running a good scheme that's working for whoever's back there, and maybe it is kind of unfortunate that Dwayne Haskins didn't work out, but for Ron Rivera to come in year one and be like, yeah, you obviously aren't trying very hard. You give no craps. So that shows his initiative. That shows his strong will. And I think that's a good leadership quality for head coach.
And I think maybe Rivera would view this differently, but I think a very rare situation where a team gets rid of a head coach and he gets hired somewhere else, where I think it worked out for both teams, or both parties. Like, it worked out for Charlotte. I think they definitely needed to change the scenery. But it also worked out for Rivera. He landed on his feet in Washington. So I'm always happy, though, when a Ohio State quarterback doesn't pan out. So
Absolutely.
Sean McDermott, I think, is
100%
safe. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
On the
We'll see if we fill our tier up here. I wonder. We got one more spot there in that tier, maybe.
Yeah, and I think we got at least one more.
Sean Payton's 100%. I think.
True. So yeah, but Sean McDermott might win Coach of the Year. Done incredible work with Josh Allen. A lot of people were down on Josh Allen when he got drafted, but you can make an argument he's one of the best quarterback from that class. I'd have to look at it, but definitely the most successful this year out of all of them. But yeah, I think Sean McDermott's really good.
Yep.
Okay, another Sean. We got Sean McVay.
I think he's safe.
He's not
100%. Well, I mean, he probably won't give. I'm pretty sure he will get fired, but I don't think there's been issues with the Rams team here. Yeah. But they're obviously, for where we were picking them this year, he overachieved for sure.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I think that he definitely overachieved. I think when that happens, a lot of it is attributed to coaching. When a team on paper looks bad and then they do good, I think a coach getting the guys to play every week, that's a big part of it. But yeah, I still like Sean McVay. Will he ever get to the Super Bowl again? I don't know. Probably not. But he's 35, so he's gonna be coaching for.
He's got some time.
Yeah, he's got a ton of time. So odds are he probably will make the Super Bowl again. But yeah, great coach. Now we got Sean Payton. Probably right in tow with Pete Carroll of safety. Sean Payton's never going to get fired in this.
You have him in order right there with pretty much the top 4 elite coaches right now in the league.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and I've probably put Tomlin right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and let's do that. And Kyle Shanahan made a Super Bowl. Yeah.
Well, let's put LaFleur as far back as possible.
Yeah,
I even like Vrabel ahead of him.
No, yeah, Sean Payton again. It's like Drew Brees. Like, they're never going to cut Drew Brees. They're never going to fire Sean Payton.
I saw reports again. Vic Fangio is probably staying as well.
Yes, but he should definitely get fired.
I think so too.
You just got to do something. Broncos, you have to do something. So you're either drafting a quarterback this year or you're firing Vic Fangio next year.
Yeah, I think, and then Zach Taylor there for the last one. He's probably safe, but he could be a TBD to fill up that column.
I'm going to put him in TBD just because I'm trying to think of, if it came out that any of these coaches on this list got fired on Monday, who would I be the most versus least surprised of? So, obviously 100% getting fired. I expect it to happen with these guys. Would not be surprised if it happened with these guys. These 3 guys, it would shock me, but it really wouldn't at the same time. I'd understand. I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think with Zach Taylor specifically, we can say Joe Burrow, he got hurt and it was also a rookie year, but he also coached last year too, and there was no success. That's why they got the first overall pick. So I think it's been 2 years. It's not like a Joe Judge situation where it's a bad team, but and still to be determined that Joe Judge could actually have the NFC East wrapped up if they had a 6-10 record. We talked about it in our playoff prediction last week.
Well, and so could the Cowboys. So that would change Mike McCarthy's standing on here drastically as well.
So I think this looks pretty close. I think, like you said, I think there's 20 guys in the 100% safe and safe section that leaves. So
a final question, I guess. We'll just do really quickly these 5 guys in the bottom. Where do you think they end up next year?
So I think of all of them, I don't think any of them are going to be a head coach.
For sure.
Next year. I think there's a chance. I think Dan Quinn's going to go be a coordinator. I think I don't even know where Marrone. Part of me thinks Marrone's not even a coordinator next year.
Honestly, I think Marrone goes to college.
I could see it.
I think he could be a head coach in college. I don't think he could be a coordinator or head coach anywhere else in the NFL.
And Bill O'Brien, he's still a quality I think we talked about he's a quality head coach, but he's not a good GM at all. So you cannot give him that kind of reign.
I could see Jacksonville or the Jets hiring Bill O'Brien or Dan Quinn.
If they get the rookie quarterback to.
Yeah, like just because, like they've been around the block. They're steady-ish guys. They both, especially Dan Quinn, has had success. Like he went to the Super Bowl. I know it was like the biggest choke job in Super Bowl history, but he went there. He got a team there. He had a competitive team for multiple years. Again, Bill O'Brien is a good coach, just not a good GM. But no one on Jacksonville or the Jets would have any ill feelings towards him from being associated with the Texans. So Matt Patricia, I
was going to ask you about Matt Patricia because he's a local guy. But do you think he's a defensive coordinator next year?
I don't know about next year.
You think he sits a year?
Yeah, it depends on
Wade Phillips or something.
It depends on the coaching hires that happen. I mean, maybe Bill Belichick will just take him back with open arms. I doubt it. But definitely not for DC. Maybe for a lower position. But I mean, if Robert Saleh or another defensive coordinator gets one of these head coaching jobs, Matt Patricia is definitely a guy that's out there.
He'll never get another head coaching job, though. I firmly believe he'll never get another head coaching job.
Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn are the only ones I could see being a head coach again.
Adam Gase has gotten several opportunities to be a head coach, and it's just not working.
Yeah, Gase.
And Doug Marrone makes sense for college.
Yeah, Gase, Marrone. I could see Gase going to college, too, honestly. But Gase, Marrone, and Patricia, there's no possible way that they are going to have a head coaching job ever again.
In the NFL, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, in the NFL, for sure. I could see Gase and Marrone being in college. I think Gase is young enough to keep in step with some college players, and I think Marrone has like the likable personality of a Power 5 scrappy team head coach. Patricia's just a dummy, and every college student would respect him in the locker room. So, all right. Well, I think that does it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us for 25 minutes here. That was good.
Hey, I mean, it worked out. Hopefully, we'll see how this works on Black Monday, and we'll talk about the fallout of that on Tuesday.
All right. Good stuff, man. See you soon.
All right. See ya.